Today we will be discussing Freud's psychological theory. He was born in 1856 in Freiburg, which is now known today as the Czech Republic. His theory unpacks unconscious conflicts based on free associations, dreams, and fantasies of his patients. His theories on child sexuality, libido, and the ego, among other topics, were some of the most influential academic concepts of the 20th century. In his interview, we will focus on the 5 psychosexual stages that Freud described. Today, we are extremely enthusiastic to welcome President Barack Obama to assist us in better understanding his theory.
Thank you.
The first stage that we will discuss is the oral stage. According to Freud, this stage occurs from the ages of infancy to 18 months. This is the pleasure that your mouth has by doing different activities. In the case of a young child, it may be breastfeeding or sucking on a binky or a thumb. President Obama, has it ever occurred to you that you may be fixated in the oral stage?
What are you trying to say?
Please don't take offense. I just noticed that you were really enjoying that cup of coffee. When did you first acquire your drinking habit?
Well, I started drinking at 19, and I really enjoyed the sensation in my mouth, and it satisfies my libido.
Maybe you should go to an AA meeting.
According to Freud, there are many different kinds of oral fixation. Nail biting, smoking, and talking too much are all examples of this.
Well, I know a few people here in the office think that you talk too much. Why don't we move on? President Obama, do you remember potty training your children?
Of course, it was a wonderful experience.
Are you a good parent or a bad parent?
A good parent, of course. I'm the president.
I mean, in terms of potty training, how did you potty train your children?
I followed Freud's example, of course. I was an encouraging, rewarding father. I wanted to make sure that my children were well developed, creative, and had high self-esteem.
Where did you learn those wonderful potty training techniques?
Well, my parents were rigid and over-demanding, and because of this, I developed chronic constipation. Still gets me to this day.
What is one of your favorite memories of potty training your children?
My favorite memory is with my youngest daughter, Sasha. One day, my wife and I noticed an awful smell coming from her room. When we opened the door, we saw our 2-year-old sitting in a pile of smeared poop.
Well, I guess you could say that she was a little anal expulsive. On to more personal and serious topics. President Obama, have you ever thought about, wanted, or had sexual relations with your mother?
Well, she is quite the looker.
Yeah, I meant when you were like 3 to 5 years old.
No.
Have you ever had castration anxiety?
Well, as a president, there are not many things I don't know of. But could you elaborate on that?
Castration anxiety is the fear of being castrated by your father. Maybe that's the real reason that you never made a move on your mom, or the reason why you're such a great leader.
My only fear in life has been and still is the fear of letting down my fellow Americans. Seriously?
Is it possible that you could be fixated in the phallic stage? Do you use your presidential status to emphasize your manliness?
I've been a real man since I came out of the womb. You guys are tough. What kind of crowd is this?
When your daughters were younger, did they ever realize that they did not have a penis?
They were intelligent from a young age, so I am sure they did.
Did they ever wish that they had one?
Let's leave my daughters out of this interview.
Moving on. There's not much to say about latency. This is stage 4 of Freud's theory, and he did not take much interest in this pubic stage of life. This stage is where a person acquires hobbies, skills, and knowledge. President Obama, you must have truly excelled in this stage.
I excel in most things, obviously. Being skillful, knowledgeable, and having multiple hobbies is something all accomplished leaders have.
This is also a time where people develop friendships and they begin to take part in school sports. I've heard that you have a true passion for basketball. You must have so much free time to master such a sport.
Free time? I'm too busy running a country.
Well, that is true. Thanks to you, we have marriage equality. The last stage that we will discuss today is the genital stage. According to Freud, this is a stage from puberty on. However, if you are fixated in any stage, then you cannot be a true genital character. In other words, you are not psychologically healthy in Freud's terms. Since you are fixated in the oral stage due to your drinking habit, you cannot fulfill this stage.
Certainly, this does not apply to me.
Well, according to your coffee drinking habits, you are fixated in the oral stage. Therefore, you cannot be a true genital character.
But I'm president.
According to Freud, 80% of men have sexual relations with other men. Have you ever experienced this?
Absolutely not.
Well, also according to Freud, these men deny it or forget it due to their anxiety.
I'm not sure if I'm on board with this theory of Freud's anymore. I think this interview needs to be over now.
Okay, well, I guess that concludes our episode. Thanks, Obama. We were fortunate enough to get the president to come back to play some Freud trivia with us, so here he is. President Obama, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
First question. Between what ages does the oral stage of development take place?
I believe that is infancy to 18 months.
You are correct. Good work. Okay. Second question. Briefly describe the oral stage.
Pleasure and nourishment of the mouth.
You are correct. Third question. Give examples of the oral stage.
Breastfeeding, eating, and sucking on the thumb.
You're correct. What is fixation?
I don't know.
Mr. President, come on. Sir, oral fixation is when someone is developmentally stuck at an earlier stage. We had talked about that earlier. We said that you were fixated in the oral stage.
You're right.
Should have known that. Question 1. Between what ages does the anal stage of development take place?
18 months to 2 years.
You are correct. Question 2. Briefly describe the anal stage.
Pleasure of having bowel movement.
You correct. Question 3. Name 2 types of development as a result of the anal stage.
Self-control, mastery over different skills.
You are correct. Then what is bad toilet training? With examples, please.
Don't you remember the constipation?
Right. So what is it?
It's when your parents are rigid. My parents were rigid.
Right, because you have constipation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still
Okay.
happens.
He's correct. We'll give it to him. Question 1. Between what ages does the phallic stage of development take place?
Well, that's easy. 3 to 5 years old.
You're correct. The next question. Briefly describe the phallic stage.
That's when the child realizes they have a sexual organ.
You're correct. What is the main idea of the electric complex?
Penis envy.
You're correct. Up next is latency. This is the second to last stage. Question 1. Between what ages does the latency stage of development take place?
6 to puberty.
You're correct.
Thank you.
Question 2. Why is latency important?
It's when a child develops skills, hobbies, and knowledge.
You're correct.
Of course.
Question 3. According to Freud, latency was preparation for?
Puberty.
You're correct. 5. Give 2 examples of what a child may learn during latency.
Sports and academics.
You're correct. How much psychosexual development occurs during latency?
Psychosexual development. I didn't even answer the question. And you already booed me. The answers I don't know.
Well, the actual answer is none.
I knew that.
The final stage is the genital stage. Between what ages does the genital stage of development take place?
Puberty until you die.
You're right. Question 2. Briefly describe the genital stage.
Is when you have interest in opposite sex.
You're correct. I love you, Michelle Obama! During the genital stage, what percentage of boys have sexual relations with another boy?
80%.
You're correct. Well, you win. Good job.
Yes.
Do a
I
dance
am the
for us.
best.
Show us how happy you are that you've won our tough game.
Why?
Because I told you to. We're going to take your president status away if you don't. I have friends in high places. You should dance.
Okay.
Hey, now ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
It's about that time.
I like this song.
Turn this thing on out.
Okay.
Let me see everybody do this.
Moving on to the next stage. It's the second to last stage. It is the latency stage. I just said stage so many times. Oh my god.
What do you want from me, people? I run a country.
We want you to know Freud.